All right. Hi. We will begin here shortly as we are preparing for another round of weather, but this looks to be the last. So waiting to see if when it kicks in, we get the notification that Facebook Live is live, which may or may not be. We're streaming. Oh, it looks like, well, it says we're streaming, so we're going to assume we're streaming. And again, we'll just give folks a chance to to get in. Yeah, there we are. Okay. So we'll give folks a chance to get in. Right now, there are no severe warnings for our area. So you can relax with that for at least a bit. But just want to get you up to date on what's going on. Yep. Thank you, Patricia. We are indeed streaming on the FB thingy. So we're just going to let a few more folks catch up here before we start rolling in, because if I don't, then about 10 minutes from now, I'm going to get, what about Lee County? What about Laurel County? What about Bourbon County? So for most of us tonight, this is not like the high-end severe weather threat we had Wednesday night. In fact, for a lot of us, there's not much of a severe threat at all, to be honest. With that said, there still is a flood threat, and that still looks to be pretty doggone significant. And you are indeed seeing the lightning beginning to kick up. So we've got, let's see, how many folks are we looking at? On the Facebook thingy, we're approaching 600. So now they did finally extend the tornado watch, which is what we've been waiting for. I'd actually sent a note out to them a little while ago and wondering why they had not. But with that storm that's coming out of Tennessee, that's the reason why. So we'll pop the tornado watch on here for you so you can see the outline. There it is. So there's the extension of the tornado watch. And that tornado watch does extend now. It's going to be until 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock for the eastern flank of this now. So it'll be the extension of the previous tornado watch. But now it's Lincoln, Casey, Russell, Adair, Taylor. You look down then toward Wayne, Pulaski, Rockcastle, Jackson, Laurel, McCreary, Whitley, Knox, Clay, and Owsley. So that's a tornado watch until 7:13. We've got there's a pretty good reason why there's a cutoff running like this. Even though you've got one nasty squall line that is sitting up here to the north. And that squall line is going to have some heavy rain with it. In fact, what we can do, I'm going to do the TV thing at the same, I didn't hit the stream, so we are streaming, so we got that taken care of. So if I go back to home, I can do the cut-in on LEX. Of course, we're in Best of the Bluegrass. I'm going to have to wait till Best of the Bluegrass is done. So the tornado watch at least is crawling on them. But yeah, the Tableau commercial's on right now. So we'll stay here. So again, your tornado warning, okay, the reason why that boundary is there is that most of this area here to the north, the air is fairly cool, and so there's not a lot of instability available. So even though you are seeing this squall line, even though that squall line is in place, it's likely not surface-based. And what we mean by that, it's still a severe, or it's a strong thunderstorm. But what you do is, if you have a cool air at the surface and it's not surface-based, essentially you get a layer of protection. And so the high winds basically roll over that cool air. So a few hundred feet up, you could be getting a 60-mile-an-hour wind. But at the surface, you stay relatively protected. Now, sometimes the rain can push that boundary layer down, and you can get those stronger winds down to the surface. Truthfully, we're seeing near where that boundary is, down here toward Casey County, that actually gives me a reasonable amount of concern. So we're going to have to keep in. That's, again, very close to where there's going to be some shear available, certainly. But that is giving every look right now that storm, you see that's what that storm is doing in northern Casey County, right over Chilton, coming toward Butchertown and eventually toward Houstonville. You can see right in there, you've got the rear flank downdraft going in. So that's helping to put that degree of shear into that storm. So again, that's in the tornado watch for northern Casey County. You folks around Chilton, you may be getting ready. Just, if nothing else, just be prepared to go to your shelter and do it quickly, because you do have a storm that definitely has shear with it, but again, it may not be surface based. It's also likely producing hail from Butchertown up to Forkland over to Allistown. But again, what you've got going on right in there, that's that rear flanking downdraft right in there, and you can see how it's notching in. So this part starts to basically outrun, and that helps to put the shear in place, but again, may not be surface based. So you just need to be prepared. Think now where you need to go. If you're in northern Casey County, western Lincoln County, because you do have a tornado watch up. For you folks in Boyle County, it's going to be, that's a nasty storm over Forkland, headed toward Alum Springs. You're going to be getting nearly constant thunder with that. And that's going to be headed through Perryville. That's eventually headed toward Danville as well. That squall line then continues to the Mercer and Washington County line. Western Anderson County is getting in on it. We are also watching just steadier rain toward Franklin County with the heavy rain then arcing back toward Shelby County. So again, here is your setup as we are looking with that, the storm that they've got tornado warned, and that's a tornado warning down in Cumberland County. So again, a little ways off. I'm going to pull that tornado watch back out just because, again, it's easier to see things when it's not there. When you're talking the temp, I'm also checking stuff going on in the chat as we speak. So there may have been a tornado in Tompkinsville, which is, again, well to our west. Clinton County is going to continue, or they haven't decided if they're going to go into Clinton County yet. Because the tornado watch is the newest thing there. So yeah, we're up to date on all my chat things over here and getting you up to speed here. So with this line here, you're going to get heavy rain, a lot of lightning, especially where I think there's hail going on with that storm, at least small hail by Perryville. Just again, the lightning uptick kind of leads you to believe that that's what's going on at this point. And given again the way that radar presentation is, and that may be a case too where the downdraft, the rear flank downdraft is kind of outpacing it. It may shear the storm apart. But it's, you can see there's little waves, little bumps in this line. And so that tells you that there are places where there's shear available, but again, it's likely not based at the surface. Rain's getting into the northern western part now of Lexington. It's up into Scott County, heavier rain there, heavier rain also into Woodford County. You folks in Mercer County, you're getting the lightning now, and again, that's a strong squall line north of Liberty. So again, that's our overall setup. Keep in mind, we also do have, I'm going to bop this over to a couple other graphics here real quick for you. Okay on that. So there may do a silly screen there for a second. Flood watch until Sunday area-wide. The numbers have been, this was as of 5 o'clock, so these will obviously change as we continue this evening. But look at that swath of rainfall that was 5 inches and more. So essentially, oh heck, there, should pick it up. There we are. 70-mile wide band of basically half a foot of rain. And you see the numbers out toward Hopkinsville. So that again, just, when we were forecasting and having those numbers up for you earlier this week and saying, up to 12 inches in parts of western Kentucky, and that's just, it's a mind-boggling number. Actually, Benton, a little further west of Hopkinsville, has had almost 14. So again, that's the amazing bit with this system. And the thing is, this is what we're forecasting for the balance. So 1 to 2 inches of additional rain, maybe a little bit more, as we go through the next 18 hours. That's on top of those numbers that you already saw. That's the additional rainfall. For perspective on this, classified this as events. Because when you look like at the August 1932, there are 3 different events that are 3-day events, or 3 days worth of rain, except that they're all for that 1 8-inch rain. So even though if I were to list the top 13 events, August 1932 would show up 3 times. March of 97 would show up 2 or 3 times. Same with June of 1960. So what I did was I looked at how the events were connected together. And so as of right now, where we are before this rain comes in this evening, so it'll be what happens before midnight, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, currently 8th place. Very reasonably, we will be top 4 rain events by the time tonight is done. And then over on Monday, we'll figure out the 4-day rainfall event, because we'll be raining into Sunday. But again, when you look at just individual rainfall events, this is top 8. So again, that's Lexington. The other folks obviously have had more rain than that. So that is, again, something that is truly, truly remarkable. As we were, again, watching, there's your tornado watch has been extended. I'm going to make sure the tornado warning hasn't been extended out. It has not. There should be a weakening trend as these things come east, because there is going to be more stable air in place. There is the slight risk of severe storms. Tornado chance, even up to I-64, is not 0, but it's not high. And I think, again, there's that stable layer at the surface that should hopefully protect us as you get a little further south. And I'll show you the temperatures further south, what we're talking about with this. You see, I mean, Barberville's 81. So again, that's instability waiting to happen. That's storm food sitting there saying, take me, eat me, turn into something big. And that's what you're seeing down there to the south. So you see that number, I mean, that just gives you like a great pause for concern. And you see how the cooler numbers, though, are up here. So again, that's where I think everything is basically going over the top. And you notice that there's a lot of cooler air now pouring in backside of this system. So you're looking at all that stuff there. The cooler air is eventually winning out, but even then it's still going to be raining awfully hard. Again, I'm just trying to keep up with stuff both here and there. Okay, I'm taking a quick scan on the storm down there that's coming still southwest of Lake Cumberland. So again, you've got the instability sitting here for the storms that are coming, actually coming out of Middle Tennessee. So that's the area that I think we really have the greatest concern. But still, in this whole area, heavy rain is going to be a big calling card. And there could be some gusty winds, but I think most of it's going to be up over our heads. So with that, let's go back to the radar. Yeah, so it's got a little skid on it for that bit of shear that we were looking at. Skits are the radar algorithm's way of saying, hey, look here. So this is what it's showing. I was in the middle of dinner when I decided to do this. So you see the communities that'll be impacted with this over the next little bit. And it's not, you can still see we've got the flanking line here, right around Butchertown, but it's not hooking like it was. But you still have the inflow going on. But again, that's more of a flanking line now. So that's, again, the rear inflow coming in and likely undercutting everything as well. But still, we're seeing those purpley, pinkish around Alum Springs. A little small hail with that. It's not going to be a surprise at all. And again, given the lightning with this, again, not a surprise either. Oh, golly. All right. So again, rain's coming into Lexington now. The strong, I mean, where it's going to be torrential rain. In fact, let's go back over to the analysis. Is going to be with this line. So it's 127 and just west at this point. You folks in Lawrenceburg, again, it's about to start raining really hard. When we're talking the rainfall rate, So it just, it's not going to be an hour's worth of rain with this, but you're seeing that 7-inch an hour heavy rain with that line. Obviously, either side of it, it's a more reasonable number, but again, there will be just an absolute torrential downpour with that. When we're looking again at storm relative, not much with that cell to the south. And again, there's still at least a degree of twisting going on aloft with this, not particularly tight, but still worthy of note. Just again, we're going to keep an eye on that. And again, just as we were going through the radar meteorology on that, what you've got going on. So you see that notching right there? That's again your rear flank downdraft coming into this. That heading into Houstonville is what is called a flanking line. For you folks in Houstonville, you're going to get a real strong burst of wind here in the next couple of minutes. They're along 127. So when that line comes in, there's going to be some really strong wind with that. So this is a little, it's a kind of a baby supercell here. Almost that comet shape. I'm a horrible artist, so I'm trying to draw with the telestrators even easier. But again, you're going to get a real strong wind there in the next little bit along 127. It's gone through Butchertown now. Alum Springs, you've got a big time downpour going on, and so we're bringing you up to date with that. And again, a little small hail maybe going on with that, and then the heavy downpour now just west of Harrodsburg, just west of 127. And you get up into Anderson County. It's basically now just at the bypass, although it looks like it's raining pretty hard in between. It's going to rain harder. By the way, we had our chief photographer in Clifton today, and I'm just getting some amazing pictures there along the Kentucky River. So again, for you folks there, this is a big time deal. It's not severe. We want to make sure, not severe, but it is certainly strong, and there is at least the chance something could become surface-based, and so we're keeping an eye on it. That's being prudent at this point. And we're not going to be on until 10 o'clock doing this. I don't think my voice can handle it that much longer. Let's see what we're doing with the warnings to the south. They have not been extended. Down there's kind of a radar no man's land because you're a decent distance away from Nashville. You are also a pretty good distance away from Louisville. But we can, I believe, get level 2, super resolution. So this is out of the Nashville radar. So again, it's where they're looking at the possibly tornadic part of this storm is going to be at the apex of that bow, right in there. So it's basically over Burkesville right now. There again, Tompkinsville, there was a report of a tornado, so this has a history. When we are looking at storm relative velocity from it, let me pull that off. So there may be something in between. You see the little bit of red and green mixed in with a high velocity signature south of Burkesville. So you're pulling a 76. So you've got 90 miles of gate-to-gate shear going on. So, but you're also at that point 5,300 feet up. So again, this is well off the surface where you're seeing that particular bit of rotation. And somebody just did something. Jackson. We got the tornado. Okay, we already know that. 7:15, at 7:30, Louisville. Severe thunderstorm warning for Adair and Russell. So they're going, let me pop back to the Louisville radar. And I'm going to try and do a TV thing here. We still in, our schedule is off today because golf ran long. Okay. So there's your new severe thunderstorm warning. And I believe I can do this. I've got the microphone on. I am pretty sure. Hold that thought. I'm checking to make sure they left the microphone on, which they did. Okay, so we are about to do a cut-in over on the TV side. And we'll highlight it right about there. So this will be short and sweet on the TV side. And so stand by, Facebook. And we'll go here. 3, 2. It's Chief Meteorologist Bill Meck. Quick weather update for you. We're tracking a line of severe thunderstorms near the Lake Cumberland area, and so we have a new severe thunderstorm warning till 7:15 Central Time for Russell County and until 7:15 for Adair County. Again, that is Central Time. Storms are now near Burkesville. There's also a tornado watch up for southern Kentucky until 11 o'clock tonight. So again, keep it here on LAX 18. We'll keep you informed. And we just did TV. So let me pop, not that, that's what I wanted. Okay, headed to Barberville, but it's a long way off. Frankfort, you've got rain. Lexington, rain. Storms, it's going to have lightning and thunder with it. So yeah, here comes the, all right. Yeah, somebody said Bill loves this stuff. Truthfully, 40 years ago, when my career was starting and I was getting paid $3.50 an hour to be on TV. No kidding. That is the absolute honest truth. But we would hang around in the weather office. My mentor's name, who was a guy named Larry Cosgrove, and he is the one who taught me how to do severe weather. And this was back in the days, there were no computer graphics. We actually had a radar at the station I worked at WOI in Des Moines. Actually Ames, technically. We had an old 74C radar that the Iowa State University had. I don't think Lexington will have severe. I mean, it's not a zero chance, it's just not a big chance. I think most of this stuff is going to come through as just heavy rain with a lot of lightning. So again, what do we say? Just be aware, stay weather aware. I think the chance for Lexington is low. It's not zero, but it's low. The storm that's coming at you in Garrett County right now, there are obviously no warnings on it. We've been talking about this storm since it was in northern Casey County. It is a supercell. It's at the tail end of that line, so it's a tail end Charlie. Excuse me. And it does have structure, but again, I'm not sure if it's surface based. And so it may be a loft where you're getting the strongest winds, maybe just a few hundred feet off the surface, but that's all you need. But the rain can sometimes overcome that little bit of an inversion, and you can transport the stronger winds down to the ground. The lightning's actually decreased a little bit in this, so it's coming into a less hospitable environment as well. But again, as we were talking about that, and it has started to flatten out. So again, you see how it's almost a meridional kind of display there instead of having that little bit of a bow that it was showing earlier. But you do have that rear flank downdraft coming into that and spinning up a little bit of hail. So there you can see that bowing again, little bit, right like that. You see that? So again, that's where the rear flanking downdraft's impinging. It comes up here from the parent mesolow and it transports it down this way. So on that front end, so Houstonville, you just had the big wind come through. Stanford, you're next in line for that. You'll get some strong winds likely out of it. It's not going to be as strong as if it were surface-based, and there is a little bit of rotation on this. But again, we're showing that. Let me pop so I just can get my data. We're showing some rotation. It's a mile up, where you do have that little bit of a turning in. So when we were talking about that rear flank downdraft, that's it. So this is the radar out of Louisville, because I don't have the Doppler set up on our radar, Doppler mode. So that's what we're seeing there. So that's the rear flanking downdraft plowing right in there. And you do have a little bit of inward velocity like that. So that, again, is that little bit of a swirl. But I think, again, near Hubble, I think this is a loft. But it's, again, be aware, Lincoln County is under a tornado watch, so you do need to be prepared. This can theoretically make it to the surface, but again, it's not warned for right now at all. So if you're in Stanford, be ready. If you want to take the ounce of precaution, be near your shelter. But right now, again, that storm is not warned for, but that when we had the watch, that should have been your hint anyway that you need to be thinking about where your safe spot is. Let me pop Max on here. And we have that one dead radial because of the big blue building downtown. So it's moving through that right now. But again, that storm near Bonneville, again, you're getting the strong winds, and that's going to be coming in on Stanford. Let me check the mesonet, see if we've had any strong winds out of that. Wind, current gusts. There are 38-mile-per-hour winds with that right now. And they're coming out, and this is actually in Danville. So Danville's on the rear flank of the downdraft there. 38-mile-per-hour winds coming out of the northwest. So that's on that rear flank downdraft right in there that we were talking about. Let me give you a different. So again, that's where that rear flanking downdraft is plowing into that system. Stanford right now has a 14-mile-an-hour wind coming in out of the south. Actually, more east. So that's what's going on right there. So you do have a convergence. Again, there may be a little bit of hail right there, not too far from Junction City, actually a little east of Junction City, at the Boyle-Lincoln County line. So again, that's the tail end Charlie on that system. To the south, again, our severe thunderstorm warning. And so the storm now is approaching Lake Cumberland. Again, you're seeing some broad rotation with that. That's off the Louisville radar. Straight up velocity, same idea. It's broad, but it's also 7,000 feet up. So again, that's kind of that radar no man's land. But again, that's approaching Lake Cumberland now. So if you knew folks who were out on Lake Cumberland today, because it's been dry most of the day, make sure that you can get a hold of them there into safe harbor. There's your severe thunderstorm warning for Russell till 7:15 Central, and Adair until 7:15 Central, Clinton until 7:15 Central, although Clinton and Cumberland counties, I believe, are Nashville's TV area. But you folks in Wayne County, Monticello, Pulaski County, be ready. You're probably going to have a warning coming up in the next little bit. Yeah, the rainfall we were showing you that earlier, I mean, those numbers are just insane. There are places, well, in western Kentucky where they've had 12 to 14 inches of rain. That's an entire spring season in 4 days. Literally a season's worth of rain in 4 days, or 3 days. And for central Kentucky, the 6-7 inches that we've been seeing, that's half of a season in 3 days. So that's why the flooding is as it is. Expand it back out. So that line of heavy storms has gone through Lawrenceburg. And again, it's not severe. By the way, what were the winds just while I was on the mesonet? You got a 30-mile-an-hour wind in Harrodsburg, 26, that's in Shelby County. So the Lawrenceburg site's had a 17-mile-an-hour wind currently. It's running 10 to 15 in Fayette County. Cumberland County, behind that storm's only got a 20-mile-an-hour gust. What do you think went through? I can actually check the. I'm checking the wind gusts that they've had with that storm down in the south, because it went pretty close to the mesonet site. And truthfully, the strongest wind they've had is 28 down in Cumberland County. So again, that may not even be entirely surface-based at this point either. That's a key. We've seen days that should have had severe weather, and a little rain beforehand puts a little inversion in place, and we get spared the worst of it. Heavy rain now running, basically coming down 421 and 127 in Franklin County through Frankfort, although it's more toward Forks of Elkhorn at this point. Just to the west of Midway, Millville is going to get in on this heavy rain and maybe some wind out of this as it comes by. And then it works its way now along the Kentucky River at the Mercer-Woodford County line, southern Woodford County. So this will be moving into Jessamine County here shortly. Then the line works down into eastern parts of Mercer County. So you folks along Harrington Lake, be aware that this storm is right there with you at this point. Working into Garrett County. And this has flattened out, although again, there's going to be, I still think on this back end of the draft here, I think there's going to be some pretty strong winds. But again, it is something that is very worthy of looking. The Weather Prediction Center has come out with a rainfall update. Just basically telling you it's going to rain hard tonight, which we already were telling you. But this is it. One more night. We get through tonight and tomorrow morning, and then, yeah, we got to deal with the flood cleanup. But in terms of new stuff happening, that will help. So it looks like with that down rear flanking draft there, that it's trying to spin up a little something else there. Not, well, spin up, right over Stanford. So again, you folks are getting the strong winds at this point. Heavy downpour, but again, the lightning has also come down considerably. So the storm's losing a little bit of its punch. The storm is now generally east of 127, getting into Harrington Lake. And again, this is just heavy rain, lightning, thunder, and some gusty winds, 30, 35 miles an hour on that line through Woodford County, now just west of Versailles, just west of Midway, and now just east of Frankfort. And I'm hearing a rumble of thunder outside the station. Just to reiterate, severe thunderstorm warning for Russell County until 7:15. Storms are now getting into the western tip there of Russell County, southwest of Jamestown. You see a few of the communities there just off of Lake Cumberland. So the worst of this is also pretty much getting through Adair County at this point. But technically, the severe thunderstorm warning for Adair County till 7:15, Clinton until 7:15, if you are watching us there in Clinton County. And if you are, hi, my name's Bill. I'm the weather guy at LAX 18 in Lexington. You've been maybe watching some of the Nashville folks there. Something's printing, which means something got sent. Out of Jackson. Survey says severe thunderstorm warning, Pulaski and Wayne. We're going to do a TV thing here again as soon as it pops up here. There it is. So those are new severe thunderstorm warnings. So we are about to do a quick severe thunderstorm warning. And after we do this, we'll start taking some questions again. All right. Well, we're in a local spot, so I'm going to let that slide. So hang on, because the storms are still 30 miles away from Wayne and Pulaski. So we'll let the local spot finish up here. Oh, okay. So meanwhile, I'll take a look at what questions may be sliding in here. And it's going to be what, yeah. Lexington is predominantly rain. Again, if you've been here for a while. If you've been here for a while, it's to the south where the main action is going to be. It depends on where you are. We're talking about 8:30 or 9 o'clock, Molly. Anything for severe for Jessamine? I don't believe so. It's not zero, but it's not very high at all. I think it's winds will maybe push 30, 35 with that line when it comes through, and it's almost there. Jamestown, again, you are looking at that storm coming in now, so we'll put a quick track on that for you, specifically for Jamestown. So there's the leading edge, and it's moving at about 45. So Jamestown, 6:51. Well, 6:51 Central Time, 7:51 Eastern, but 6:51 Central Time for Jamestown. So that's a ballpark for you on that one. So I hope that helps. All right. And we'll do a quick cut in here on the TV side. 3, 2. Chief Meteorologist Bill Meck, an update on the severe weather situation, new severe thunderstorm warnings till 8:15 for Pulaski County and for Wayne County, including both Somerset and Monticello. A severe storm is still sitting west of Jamestown, coming up on the beginnings of Lake Cumberland. It'll be moving in over the next half hour. Strong damaging winds are a possibility, heavy rain and lightning. Again, severe thunderstorm warning. Wayne County and Pulaski County until 8:15. Severe thunderstorm warning also for Russell County until 7:15 Central Time. Keep it here on LAX 18. All righty. This is so cool that we get to do both TV and streaming simultaneously. At Lancaster, so we bring you back to... All right, so yeah, Lancaster, you've got that heavy rain should be sitting over you right about now. You're getting obviously lightning and thunder with it, but nothing on this display would lead me to think right now that it's anything other than a garden variety storm at this point with some strong winds. Harrington Lake's getting it now. Is Brooke asks, is it capable of a tornado in Wayne County? Yes. You have a tornado watch. In fact, I'll put that up again. So a tornado watch, by definition, means that a tornado is a possibility. And that's why you need to be thinking right now of where your safe spot is. So we'll pop that tornado watch back on for you so you see what counties are involved. And it does go all the way up into Lincoln County. Even outside of where there is no watch, Garrett County, Madison County, Estill, just because the watch isn't there doesn't mean something can't happen. It's just not likely. It's a very small chance, but at this point I still don't think it's zero, but again, it's close. But a tornado watch means conditions are favorable in that big area that you see of a storm that could produce a tornado. Those counties, again, would be Casey, Russell, Wayne, Pulaski, Lincoln, Rockcastle, Jackson, Owsley, Clay, Laurel. If I didn't say Pulaski, I'll say it now. Wayne, McCreary, Whitley, and Knox. That's the tornado watch, and it's tornado watch until 11 o'clock for most of those counties. So that means, again, during the tornado watch, you think of where your safe spot is. Because if a tornado warning, you may not have more than a minute or two to get to your safe spot. And if you've thought about it beforehand, you know what to do and where to go. Let me pop this up really quick because I can. Difference between a watch and a warning. A watch lasts several hours. It covers all or part of a couple of states. Usually parts of Kentucky, may go up to Ohio, may go down into Tennessee. Your notice is usually a couple hours. We let you know the watch is there way before the storms arrive and the action. And this is what I emphasize in Bill's Weather 101s. It's your time to think. It's your time to plan. Where do I need to go in case a warning is issued? And that warning means that something's either happening or is about to happen. Sometimes it's radar indicated. They don't always necessarily come to ground truths, but it's one of those things where the evidence is there. The preponderance of evidence says something is going to happen. And so with that, your warning time is usually less than a half hour. Sometimes it's only a couple of minutes. And so you need to be prepared and think during the watch. A warning is down to a county level, maybe a part of a couple of counties. When we get a big squall line, the warnings will extend for 7 or 8 counties, and they're huge. We usually kind of just, professionally giggle amongst ourselves back here. It's like, it's broad brushing everything instead of being really storm specific. But it's an easier way to get people alerted. But again, so the warning is your time to act, your time to get to where your safe spot is. And again, you're usually getting a minute or two up to maybe 15 or 20 minutes warning depending on the situation. So let me X out of that because something else is printing. All right, let's switch that to Louisville. Just continuing the severe thunderstorm warning for Russell and Clinton County. So let's put the Louisville radar back on there for you. I may be wrapping this up here in the next little bit. Yeah, we could talk all night. All right. The Houstonville, with that one storm that went through Houstonville, where you probably got some decent wind out of it. Keavy there in Laurel County, you're going to have the storms. They're still a couple hour and a half, 2 hours out. Houstonville, once that initial wave goes by, the severe threat drops dramatically. Basically, I would say west of 127 at this point. North of Liberty, that the threat is down to close to zero. With that said, now you got good lightning and thunder going on in Jessamine County. And that continues down into the western part of Fayette. It's going by the castle there where it's raining hard, back to Midway where it's raining hard. Forks of Elkhorn, you passed it by, but White Sulphur there, Duval, it's just coming up now on the bypass there in Scott County. Stamping Ground getting in on it. Toyota plant, it's almost there. And you can see how the orientation now is different than what we were showing you earlier. So again, you got some strong wind coming in on the backside there, which may be still impinging there on Lancaster. It's almost to Madison County, but again, what we are looking at is, yeah, even anything that was resembling something spinning earlier is gone from that. Let me go back to the southern storms. There's a very broad circulation, basically south of Jamestown. And we're saying broad circulation. It's a couple miles wide. So it's not coincidental. So, but that's part of that storm that we were looking at there in Russell County. All right. You're welcome, Ann. Lexington is rain and wind and lightning. And I do expect it to stay sub-severe. But right now on the west side of Lexington, just outside of Manowar, over there by Westmoreland, it is pouring. And that continues over toward Little Texas, going out there along Military Pike. That'll be coming in there on Palomar here. In fact, it's already pretty much at Palomar. It'll work its way toward the heavier rain toward Beaumont and Fayette Mall here in the next little bit. Still outside of Meadowthorpe, hasn't quite gotten to Masterson Station yet. Elkchester's getting hit hard with the rain right now. Keeneland obviously as well. Might be a little bit of pea hail over there right by Nicholasville. So again, that storm is actually outrunning the tornado watch at this point. Destiny, the chance is pretty close to zero for Bourbon County. I think the air is just too cool. Yeah, real rainy and windy in Nicholasville. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, you're getting the ground truth that it's heavy rain when that line hits. So from in Garrett County there, so you folks there north of Preachersville, Mance, Hackley are about to get it. Buckeye is getting it now. Crow Valley, and you're getting into Madison County, Edenton, Pink, Hanley, Stringtown, almost to Valley View. Nicholasville is getting the heavy rain and some wind right now. That continues on up to Keene. It'll be hitting Brannan shortly. There's a lightning strike not far from Fayette Mall. It'll be at Fayette Mall in about the next 5 minutes. It's now passing by Dunbar. It's getting almost a new circle on the west side. Keeneland's in the midst of it. Elkchester, Viley, almost to Meadowthorpe. Masterson Station, it's passing by Pisgah. Pisgah's at the tail end of it. Midway's at the tail end of this batch of heavy rain to Zion Hill, and then continuing up into Scott County, Stamping Ground, Duval, west side of Georgetown, all that new area there with the Scott County High School and toward Great Crossing. You guys are getting up toward the Toyota plant in Mallard Point. Heavy rain also towards Cynthiana and Barry. So that's just garden variety. And again, the severe thunderstorms to the south. So gang, all right. There is not much severe weather chance. I think it's really south of there, and even that's small. You're north of that, I-64 corridor, Mountain Parkway, anywhere around those and north, I think your chances are really, really close to zero. Berea is even pretty close to zero. Crab Orchard, you've got the storms coming by now, but I think it's just rain and wind, where everything seems to be aloft. Different story where we have the tornado watch in the south and the current severe thunderstorm warnings. Pulaski, Wayne until 8:15, Russell till 7:15 Central, and Clinton until 7:15 Central. There's at least the potential there that damaging winds can reach the surface. And a tornado watch, and we explained the difference and why you need to be prepared, is up for those counties as well. We're getting a skit on that storm. Hail size you see is small, and that storm is aloft at this point. But you see some of the places that'll be impacted here in the next little bit. Put the max track on with that. And we should have been pulling the attributes. That may have been coming from, sorry about that. So we got live going there. It's that may be, it's pulling the attributes from LVX. So that was aloft that was seeing that high wind. So that's the setup, gang. And we're coming up here on 8 o'clock, so. Yeah, and I think if you're it's mostly heavy rain. And again, we can't de-emphasize how much rain still is to come. In fact, just so you get a perspective on that. Not that, well, there you see the tornado watch until 10 o'clock. So again, that's where your greatest threat for severe weather is. So that again is going to be mostly, it's going to be south of Highway 52. But again, you're seeing these communities here. If you're not near one of these communities, your chances of severe weather are pretty small. But with the tornado watch in place, you've got to at least respect the possibility that something can reach the surface, especially as we were talking about earlier, down here where temperatures were in the 70s and 80s. Corbin, Williamsburg, Barberville, probably getting into southern Clay and Leslie County, where you have instability available. So that is an area that still needs to be watched really carefully. And again, the severe thunderstorm warnings for Pulaski and Wayne. But what I was going to show you here is the radar loop. Okay, here we go. So again, what we still have to go through tonight. So that's bringing it up to current. So again, we've got this batch of heavy rain coming through now, but we've got all this rain. In fact, if you run it backwards here, you notice how the line itself is coming east, but the individual cells are going northeast. So it's going to take a while for this to clear. And there may be another little resurgence back there in northern Arkansas. So that may be one more wave that's going to try and come up on this south of Memphis and get more overrunning with this. So rain's going to be with us through the night, gang. And again, we were showing those numbers. Another inch or two of rain on top of what has been historic rainfall numbers. So again, stay weather aware. Cannot emphasize that to you enough. And yeah, it's, in terms of, let me put the live radar up. So again, that'll sweep the rest of it on. Yeah, you're getting a good lightning thunder now in Lexington. Same in Nicholasville. That line, that bright red line, you get heavy rain, you get wind. In fact, let me check the updates on the wind. It's still 82 in Barberville, by the way. Current gusts, you got a 20-mile-an-hour gust in Lincoln County right now. Ahead of that line in Lexington, it's 15-mile-an-hour gust, which is what the ambient wind basically has been. So you get the heavy rain, you get lightning and thunder, you may get wind gusts 25, 30, and that ought to be about it. So again, this is not like Wednesday night and Thursday morning, but again, to the south, we are going to keep a weather eye out, and you need to stay weather aware. All right, guys, I'm talked out for a while. We may do this again a little bit later on this evening. Will it be extended into Perry and Breathitt? I don't think so, because you're going to be coming in later in the night. I mean, you're still a few hours away, and I think the environment's just not going to be as conducive. And we should be, yeah, I've got the concern there for Barberville as well. And that's a testament to the mesonet. Because if we didn't have the Kentucky mesonet, we wouldn't know right now that it's 82 degrees in Barberville, and wouldn't know necessarily about what's going on. So again, here's the storm that's coming into Pulaski County. You're seeing some of the communities there. Nancy at 810. It's on a path that'll take it close to Somerset, so you folks there need to be aware that you've got a severe thunderstorm potentially coming your way. So again, Wayne County and Pulaski County, those are your severe thunderstorm warnings of note here. So be safe, be calm, be prepared. And of course on LAX 18, we will update you there. We'll do our best to update you here. And will there be a watch in Lexington later? No. The flood watch is all we're going to have to deal with. So again, that's your threat for severe weather, mainly across the south. Nicholasville, again, you've had the worst of it already go by, and it was rain and some wind and lightning. Oh, okay, hang on. Cut in, take control. All right, we lost our signal from NBC. So with that, I will stay here for a couple of minutes and check back to see if, so we're on TV now. We're also on Facebook Live simultaneously. So to bring you up to speed, the reason why we just lost the TV signal is that it is an absolute deluge right now in Lexington. And so if any of you have a satellite dish at home, you know what we're talking about. It's called rain fade. And sometimes it rains so hard, oh, they overtook it. Good, we got the signal back. Perfect. Don't need to worry about that anymore. Excellent. And whew, that was interesting. Yeah, we went to black there. So thank you for that heads up. So again, heavy rain right now going through Lexington, down toward Jessamine County and toward Madison County. And I overdid my chat. Let me see what the last thing was here. Yeah, luckily this is not a big system, so it moved out quickly. Continues tornado watch. Yep, we know that. Continues severe thunderstorm warning. Nothing. Flash flood warning. So we do have a new flash flood warning. So is there anything specific other than the fact that it's a flash? Anything? Boyle County, Marion County, Mercer, and Washington until midnight. That's a flash flood warning. So as we always say, if you live in a flood-prone area, be prepared to move to higher ground. You should have been there already with the flood watch, or be prepared at least. But if the water starts rising, get to your safe spot. Never, ever, 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 ever drive across a flooded road. And gang, now we are seriously going to end this. And Houstonville, you had the worst of it already go by. We should have been a little louder already. The engineers have worked on it. They put the left and right channels in on this, so I don't know what to tell you on the fact that maybe turn your volume up somewhere on the system. And the rain in Jamestown. Okay. So gang, thanks for being with us on the stream here, and we will keep in touch. Again, be calm, be prepared, and stay weather aware. Have yourselves a good Saturday night, and we'll maybe check back with you a little bit later on. But again, thanks for watching.